Tekken has always been my kryptonite since first playing T5 as a kid. With characters having on average hundreds of moves, strict execution, and matchup knowledge that spans 30 plus years, it's a lot. I've always considered Tekken the Dark Souls of fighting games. But after years of playing 2D fighting games to a decent level, I thought it was time this Tekken noob finally became good.
Get ready for the next battle.
And so, I chose my character, Reina. She's a newcomer to Tekken 8, and just from her reveal trailer, I knew I had to main her. She looks really cool, okay? I want that jacket. Little did I know that she's the most complex newcomer in Tekken history. Oops. Before we enter the room of spirit and salt, since I'm trying to get good at Tekken, I decided to come up with some goals. First, get a basic understanding of what my character, Reina, can do, so I can have a solid foundation to work on in the future. Second, learn Tekken fundamentals. I have no idea what those are. And third, get good enough that I can demolish my friends in Tekken. It's okay, they play fighting games too. And any other goals will be created as I go. At the start of day 1, we enter the room of spirit without salt, aka practice mode. Here I was just starting to understand what Reina's all about and what my buttons do. Okay, what are my buttons? You see, Tekken is a 4-button fighter and each button controls a different limb. Left punch is 1, right punch is 2, left kick is 3, and right kick is 4. Somehow these 4 buttons along with directional inputs create the massive move list that all characters have. The first thing I did was go through Reina's combo challenges to help me understand how she works. I go through it fairly easily until challenges 9 and 10 because of this move, down forward 1, and this move, forward 2, 3. Which later become my best friends. After that, I checked out her simple combos and a few other moves, one of which being the electric wind god fist. I remember this move from my short time playing Tekken 7 when I trained myself like a dog to do it. More on that later. But at this time, I couldn't do it, so we enter the room of spirit and salt. Entering the room of spirit and salt, aka practice mode that goes into ranked matches. Yeah. I fought my first ever match in Tekken 8 against Brian and got destroyed. Well, okay, I took 1 round. Yeah! But at this point I wasn't very used to Reina or how her buttons worked, or how her stances worked, which she has 4 of, by the way. So it was mostly a one-sided match. Match 2 was basically the same. I managed to take 2 rounds and thought I was winning, but in reality I wasn't. I also learned that ranked games are first to 2, and so I set out for my next match. Matches 3 and 4 were against Kazuya using Special Style. Special Style is basically Tekken's version of auto combos, and it practically destroyed me. What just happened? What? I jumped combo again. I really wasn't expecting the auto combo button to give perfect electrics, but here we are. Seriously, what the hell? Match 5 and 6 can best be summed up in 2 words. What is going on? At this point, I'm still new to the game and did not know how to block and punish this. But apparently this is very unsafe on block. Match 7 started off horribly, with my controller randomly disconnecting at the start of the match. Why? Tried to bring it back, but we couldn't. Maybe next time. Match 8, however, went much better. With a few careful plays, a couple of drop combos, and this cheeky overhead, I was able to get my first win. That's a mid-nab. Then match 9 happened. I learned a new move, down forward 1-2. This move leads into a headbutt that counts as a heat engager, so it's pretty useful. But in the end, I missed hard on my heat smash and lost. I learned a new move out of it though, so that's progress. So, after getting my first win, I was feeling confident and thought I was ready to face anything. That was until seeing my opponent. Drake? Yes, Mr. Drake Kazama appeared. But I would not let him beat me. Yeah! It was actually a close game with me and Drake Kazama, going back and forth until he landed a nice grab that ended the set. It was good, okay? Really good. During the game, I was starting to get more comfortable with Reina. Even though I was still dropping combos, I felt I was doing something right, and other things were just a lack of knowledge. Like trying to combo 3-2 after down forward 2. That move combos from when got fist, but not down forward 2, which I didn't know at the time. No way. Why does that not work? I did some things right though, like this rage art punish. Well, at least I managed to win the set over Drake Kazama before he started doing whatever Drake Kazama does. Match 13 was against a Raven player, and I legit have no idea what this guy does. Ninja stuff, I guess? He was ducking my jabs and punishing me because I had no idea jabs were duckable. But somehow I managed to BS my way into winning the set, so... yeah. I can feel myself becoming more aggressive, applying pressure with abusing my opponent's habits of crouching, and thus I would hit him with moves I didn't think could be blocked low, because they were mid-nab. No, yes! In match 15, I fought another Reina player, and realized I still have a long way to go with this character. My opponent was a lot more aggressive, and was using moves I've never seen before, such as parry, and moves I didn't even know existed until after these 100 games, such as 3+4. The Reina player continued to dominate as I had no idea what to do or what I should press. Eventually I was too afraid to go on offense and lost the set. Match 17. No, not again. Why? A Brian player kicked my ass. It was at this time around I realized everyone was ducking my jab, which at the time was my main poking tool, and I knew something was missing, something that would stop everyone from ducking my attacks. But at this stage I didn't know what that something was. Since my opponent ducked under my jabs, I decided to use my 1-2-3-4 string, since at least 3 and 4 couldn't be ducked. I still lost, but hey, more knowledge and the start of a game plan. Match 19 was my first match against the king, and at first I thought, oh, this isn't that bad. I mean, I managed to pull a win. That was until match 20. Rematching the king player, it was still going well, and then he started to grab me. He started to grab me a lot, like a lot. And I have no idea how to break King's throws specifically, since after doing some research, some of them aren't as simple as pressing 1 or 2 or 1+2. Well, these ones were, but that's not the point. Match 21 reminded me why I hate grapplers, and they still do not deserve rights. Match 22 was against Mr. Left Right Good Night, aka Steve, and I feel like when fighting Steve, he gets to press a lot of buttons, and they are all really freaking fast. I was just not ready for all the pressure he can apply. Eventually, I decided to apply my own offense by using my armor moves to keep him off of me, and then starting my aggression. It's also when I learned blocking a rage art guarantees a free grab. Well, this grab was a little late, but we take those. Punchy boys start to learn my pattern, and even though I continued to drop my combos and was down 2, I started to make a comeback. But in the end, it was for naught. After this, I decided that was enough for the day, since it was already 5 AM and I could tell exhaustion was getting to my gameplay. I started day 2 by spending some time customizing my arena. I made 3 different outfits. After all, it's not Tekken if you're not customizing your character. Anyway, I started the day in practice mode since I still haven't watched any tutorials at this time. I had some mini goals due to what happened last session. First was to find a good mid. Since my opponents were ducking my jabs, I knew I had to find something that wouldn't give them a free punish. Second was to find more combo routes. Since the combo route I went for, down forward 4-2-3, was okay, but it used my bounce state, and thus I didn't get much damage off of it. Eventually, after scrolling through lots of moves, seriously, every time I look at the move list, it feels like more moves I've never seen before just added randomly. I did discover a new combo route. It involves down forward 2, into down forward 1, into forward 2-3. That transitions into Sentai, her stance, which I can go into Sentai 1+2, which causes a bounce state, and transitions into Heaven's Wrath. Then I use Heaven's Wrath 3-4 as my damage ender. That was a lot of words, but basically it's a all-around better combo compared to what I was doing. I also made 2 more goals for this challenge. My fourth goal was to get better at doing electrics. In order to do an electric Wind God Fist, I had to press down forward and 2 on the exact same frame. 1 frame is 1/60th of a second, so now I have to be really fast. But recall when I talked about this move from my short time playing Tekken 7? Well, I only played Tekken 7 because Kazuya was coming out in Smash Bros, and I wanted to learn how to do an electric. So I downloaded Tekken 7, and using a bag of chips, I would give myself 1 chip each time I got an electric. I was getting consistent, but I could never do it against a CPU. Luckily, some of that muscle memory was still there, making it a tiny bit easier. Only a tiny bit though. My 5th goal was to learn better movement, along with the Mishima wave dash, since it's really important for characters that use Mishima style like Arena. With these goals in mind, I began what was my longest, most difficult, but also most informing session. I fought my first Alyssa, and she's tricky. Her chainsaws were constantly catching me, and they did so much damage by the time I caught my breath, I was already far behind on life. I was also getting caught by a bunch of raw heat smashes, which led to my demise. Oh, come on. Yo! I barely managed to survive here, but dropped my combo at the worst time. I messed up the combo. Also, I cannot believe this killed. Gotcha. Oh, come on. That killed? This game was a mix of my fault, due to lack of knowledge, and a bit of gimmicks. Not again. Not again. How do you break that? No. 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 I was constantly being grabbed by normal 1 or 2 breakthrows, and I kept getting hit by this move where King jumps into the air and slams down. I know it's unblockable because of the key effects, but I had no idea it tracks so well. Wow. What? This game was more of the same. Yes, got the combo. Don't know what to do on wall though. No, 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 not again! No! How do you get out of that? A Leo player cosplaying as 9S from near. Huh. Nice. I played Leo in Tekken 6 and 7, so I knew I would have a fun time against this player. I did try to timer scan them the first round, and got what I deserved. But after we went back and forth, I even managed to get a perfect. I may have lost the game, but the ending was really cool. Eventually, I adapted to their playstyle, and after playing a little slower and punishing certain moves, I was able to get a pretty convincing win for the set. At this point, I got my one win and started messing around with different moves. I also learned that low attacks break power crushes, which was pretty helpful since my opponent used them a lot. And we ranked up to strategist. So this was my first time against Jack 8, and I was actually doing pretty well. His moves are actually fairly easy to read, so I was able to block most of his attacks. I also finally made use of Unsoku stance to whiff punish my opponent. Somehow I came back from this. I'm pretty sure after the first palm they could have rolled away, I managed to win the set after they almost made a massive comeback. Unrelated, but did you know that Jack 8 has a 10 frame beat smash? This thing comes out as fast as a jab. Who thought that was a good idea? At this point, I was on a bit of a win streak, and this Law player is gonna make sure that didn't happen for much longer. I feel like this set was a bit of a fluke, because after I won this set, I think they started to adjust their gamer chair. They started going in, hitting me with flips and these low kicks that lead into combos. I later learned those are called snake edges. Law seems like a character that gets to do whatever he wants until you learn what can be punished. If you don't know, he just steamrolls you. But yeah, I got beat. No dift. Lily is another character that feels like she gets to steamroll you until you learn to match up. I am constantly being hit by a bunch of lows, mids, and flips that I could not understand how to get around. In the end, it was 2-0, and I decided to take a short break and clear my mind. This Xiaoyu was almost gonna get the better of me when they started using special style in the middle of the match. But a few badly timed rage darts caused them to lose the set. They started using special style more throughout the set, and I don't know what happened, but I blinked and got no diffed. For most of the set, I was on the back burner, but after hitting a rage art that somehow killed, I started to make a crazy comeback. This thing steamrolled me with a bunch of jab checks and lows, and anytime I crouch, I get hit by a knee or a At this time, and well, through all of these games, I did not know that mids can't be blocked crouching, so if you're running why I keep getting hit by so many mids, my muscle memory from 2D fighting games where blocking low is the best thing to do, practically betrayed me. After that humiliating loss, I started pushing back, but my movement was very bad. I essentially slowed the game down and reduced it to constant pokes with some whiff punches until I pulled a win from my rear. And unfortunately, they started to adapt and focus more on rushing me down. I was gonna say Fang is an annoying character, which he is, but looking back on these matches with the perspective I have now, nah, most of this is just my fault. For example, 112 on hit puts me into Sentai, yet I never use a single Sentai move, most of which are pretty good. Reina isn't really a character who wants to play passive. Her moves are more suited for rushing down, so going for constant pokes and staying defensive was not the way. Playing another one. I still wasn't used to blocking his moves, and when I did block something, like his sneak edge, my punish was either too slow or I didn't know what to do and froze up. Which isn't uncommon when learning a new character or game. It did lead to me taking lots of damage and losing the set though. This Steve was definitely not new to Tekken. Just from their movement and the way they basically dance around me like Muhammad Ali, I knew I wasn't gonna stand a single chance. I was beaten so badly I couldn't even figure out something to learn from the set. I managed to take a round off them, but I knew I was going to lose. I tried to at least figure something out about my character, but got rushed down and just imploded. Another team player, and I thought I was getting better at the matchup, at least in neutral, but a good chunk of the king matchup is taking those throws, which I could not. My first Azucena, and long story short, this character is correct. She has a bunch of tricky moves that weave in and out. She's really fast and has this ultra instinct stance that dodges moves and puts her in the perfect position to punish. What? I now know that she can't dodge mids during that stance, but during my first exposure, I didn't know anything and just lost. 3-0. But my next match, I somehow managed to reverse 3-0. So I'm guessing they didn't know the matchup against Reina, and then we got disconnected, so the set never ended. These matches were pretty laggy, and for the most part, I didn't feel like I was struggling. It's weird because even with the lag, I mostly just did my current game plan and won. I don't know if it was because the player was on Wi-Fi or their PC couldn't handle the game or some combo of both that caused lag, but it's fine. Remember what I said about my first matches against Lily? Well, take that and add someone who knows how to play the character, and you get me going from a state of confusion to WTF the entire set. This Xiaoyu knew what she was doing, mixing me up with mids and lows, which I still tried to block crouching, by the way. At this point, I should have a hit by mids because you crouch counter. Anyway, besides blocking on my part, I was also getting knowledge checked with frame traps I knew nothing about, and then I got tunneled on at the end of the set. At this point, the salt was starting to flow. So, this Alyssa played very passive and defensive, which annoyed me. Even though I'm playing a rushdown character, how ironic. Trying to get in on her, I also had to be wary of getting hit by raw chainsaws and heat smashes. She even tried to timer scam me, but I wasn't having it. By the last round, I tried catching this robot bug, but she kept running away and biting me. After constantly being avoided by the Alyssa, I eventually got a lucky hit to start my comeback, and finally stumped her out like Perfect Cell did Android 16. Unfortunately, the player remembered that Alyssa has chainsaws that do crazy damage, and abused this until the bitter end. This Kaz and I were mostly evenly matched, going round for round against each other. It was refreshing fighting a character that doesn't have over 20 mix-ups and frame traps. I got really lucky when they didn't punish me after going for a low parry though. I almost lost around spending too much time playing around in stances. Yet somehow in the next round, playing around in stances won me the game. After having a bit of fun, I was looking forward to whatever. And it was Panda. Oh. Okay, well maybe the next player will be something good. Fuck. Well, the happiness was drained from my soul in an instant. You already know what happened. Grapplers don't deserve rights. If you think they do, you're wrong. And if matching King wasn't enough, the robot came back. I don't know what it was about this session, but I can't escape these two characters. I was close to winning, but pushed too far and got punished. I was getting bodied for most of this set and tried to do a bunch of random things to open them up, and even get the slightest sliver of damage. I even went for a raw rage art, which it was blocked. Yet they didn't punish. Now it was time to make a crazy comeback. and we ranked up to Ranger. Which, to be honest, I did not expect to get this far, but getting this far meant I was doing something right, even if I was just winging it. Unfortunately, after that, I did lose the set to a low that I didn't see coming, but hey, we are making progress. So, you ever have those moments where you lose against someone, even though you have all the tools to beat them, you somehow get robbed? Yeah, that was basically this game in a nutshell. And after getting robbed by this Jin, I proceeded to rob him back twice-fold. And in the next match, I just took everything from him, really. Oh man. I don't know what this thing was on, but he was definitely jittering all around the place. I was getting salty on this set, not because I was losing, but because I had bad experiences with Fang prior. And let that get to me. Seriously, my notes for this match are just me being a salty scrub hating on Fang. Looking back now, most of what this Fang did and I got hit by was just my fault. I started to learn from my mistakes as the game progressed. He did this one helicopter move and at first I did not know how to block it and it put me in a really bad spot. Once I started blocking it, I was in a much better position, but past me was still huffing the sodium. Now that the helicopter move wasn't beating me, I think the Fang player started to panic and go for riskier options, which was perfect for me. Thanks to their impatience, I got a really cool finish. And with that, I got off. For a bit. You see, I was really craving more Tekken and didn't go to sleep. Instead, I went into practice mode and started looking at combos and guides, which took my gameplay to another level. I watched the main man's guide on wave dashes, which were easier than I thought. Also the 8-minute Braina guide, which greatly helped me see what I was doing wrong. Mostly not using forward 2, which I started to incorporate into my game plan. Forward 2 transitions into Sentai, making you a little plus. But if you do Sentai 3 or 4, you're still plus. This was huge for me to get in and apply pressure. I also learned that down forward 1 was a mid, and a pretty good one at that. The combo videos I watched also showed me some pretty advanced stuff that I was able to do, but I didn't have muscle memory, so I didn't do it in an actual match. It is a cool combo using up forward 1, which transitions into Heaven's Wrath, and from that going into Rising 3, and then normal combo stuff. Very fun, but the timing for the Rising 3 is tight. I also learned stuff I never knew, like the combo I was doing could be extended for more damage, since down forward 1 has a 1 follow-up. I thought it only had a 2 follow-up, but that follow-up made it much easier to combo. Also forward 4, this move is pretty good, and it's plus on block. I mostly decided to use it after heating gaugers to keep my turn, but now I had a new game plan, and all I needed to do was work on movement and electrics. I basically practiced everything I did last night on the opposite side. My reasoning for this is pretty simple. Since Tekken is a very high execution game, you want to get comfortable using both sides, and for the majority of these matches, I've been mostly playing on the left side. So my right side probably wasn't that good, which I really don't want. But after practicing on the right side, I realized something amazing. Wave dashing is so much easier. Like, just look at this. I thought it was crazy, but my electrics were more consistent on the left side, so it was really weird. I guess since mostly playing on the left side, my electrics were more consistent. I still don't understand why. Maybe it's because I'm using an Xbox controller, but I don't know. This day was a doozy. We started playing on the right side for the beginning of it, and for some reason, all of my opponents were just ranks above me. This Kaz obliterated me. They had wave dashes on deck, amazing movement, pressure, optimal damage routes, and punished everything I did wrong. Okay, this guy actually knows what he's doing. They just played very solid and owned me. I was able to get one round off of them, so I'm at least satisfied. Yep, nope, don't stand a chance. This special style June was something. At first I thought, oh, it's just June and special style. That shouldn't be that hard, but at times I was sweating.
What? What is what?
How did I get hit by that? What? Luckily, now that I'm using down forward 1, forward forward 2, and forward 4 at their heating gauge, I was able to pull through. That was rough. Brian is still a matchup I don't know. And it didn't help that I was constantly being hit by launchers and eating a lot of optimal combos. No! I also tried to open him up, but just couldn't. Maybe if I went for some grabs, it would have been a different story, but I was just outplayed for the most part. Also, I was getting hit by mids once again because past me was crouching.
Ah, why? What?
So I know I've said I got destroyed a lot in this video, but this entire set went by so fast, I'm not kidding. Not
Why
a
does that do so
single
much
round
damage?
lasted more than 30 timer counts. Except the last one, which was 31. This Claudio clearly was meant to be much higher rank, and it was just unfortunate I ran into him. I was never on offense, constantly getting hit by this dash attack that does a shit ton of damage, and I can't tell if it's a high or a mid. Truly my worst beating in Tekken so far. I think this is my first Dragon Nav, and holy crap, the leg grabs I was constantly hit by. It was just infuriating. I didn't know how to break it, and probably should have just went for hop kicks. But knowing my luck, Reina probably would have just jumped over him. How do I break that? How do I break that? I may have lost both sets, but as long as I got one round, I was still satisfied. tracking is insane. So, remember that Claudio player from about 3 matches ago who gave me my worst beating since ever opening this game? Well, this Azucena who was 8 ranks above me gave me my second worst beating. Like I said before, Azucena is really tricky and hard to block. But this player used some sort of kick move that started low in the second part, which also looks like a low by the way, but it's a mid. Past me, being past me, blocked crouching. There was also this front flip that just led to a full combo, I guess. I was basically just a training mode dummy to this player, and to throw salt in the wound, they even got a rank up off me. At least every round didn't end in 30 timer counts, except the ones that ended in way less than that. I'm not crying. You're crying. Why can't I block that? Devil Jin is certainly a character. Last time I saw Devil Jin, he was not this juiced. He has so many crazy things he can do now, and honestly, I have no idea what is going on. I have no idea what he's doing or when he does them. Like, when is it my turn to press buttons? I don't know. And get counter hit for mashing. Yeah, the usual happened, and that's okay, because we are making progress. Another Kaz. I don't have much to say. They played really solid. Good spacing, all carry, wave dash 50-50 mixes. Yeah, not much to say. Well, there was this one moment. Wow, that's a high. Oh, Nebby, you silly Billy. That's not a high, it's a mid. And you can't block mids by crouching, you silly goose you. After getting my ass handed to me by people higher ranked, I switched back to the left side and lo and behold, I matched with someone on my skill level. Crazy, right? Excuse you? This Jun didn't play as fast as my previous opponents, so I had a chance to catch my breath and actually try things. I even started using my Sentai moves after hitting 1-1-2 and punishing moves with 1+2, or my electric palm. No. It was this set that made me realize Jun has a really good heat smash. Like, the range on it is insane. It also pushes you so far back, so you can't really punish it. I still didn't know the Jun matchup and pressed at times when I shouldn't have, and with buttons right in her face while she was doing an attack. At least I used the untakeable grab from Sentai to put myself in the worst position possible, back against both walls with only one way out. I probably should have calculated that better. I hate you so much. You know, I would say I learned a lot from the last match and stopped pressing so hard against Jun, but I didn't. In fact, I did the opposite. I pressed even harder, and instead of it being Jun's turn, it was my turn. And even if it wasn't my turn, I would just make it my turn. And with that, we ranked up to the final rank before yellow ranks. Calvary. I was matched against a much higher gen player this time, and I think it was me being the previous gen player, but my confidence was really high. I managed to get a nice comeback and ended with a random hit confirm combo that I routed into on the fly. I don't think I could have killed any other way. I'm even using forward 4-2 into Sentai 3 more often now, but this cheeky sidestep into Rage Art was just wild. Side switch? Yeah. I mean, sidestep. And this time, forward 4-2 into Sentai 4 really saved me. Yes! After that, the Jun player must have gotten their second win because they were really going in and adapting to my playstyle very quickly. I also completely threw the final round when I didn't do the right input for forward 4-2 and got normal forward 2, which led to my demise. I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, the Jun player got their second win and made quick work of me and my drop combos. Also didn't help that well, by this point you get it, I crouched at the worst time. After getting beat by the magic forest lady, I guess her bear companion just had to come in and get some licks too. Did I mention this bear has a shotgun? Oh, and electrics? Yeah, this bear did not sugarcoat it one bit.
No, why?
And if getting electric to death by one bear wasn't enough, a completely different bear from the Arctic appeared and smacked me silly with the fish, then proceeded to maul me.
No.
Seriously, what do you do against Kuma? You'd think with him being so big, it would be easy to get in, but then you remember that this freaking bear knows both karate and whoop your ass. We're finally here, the last set of my goal, and it's a Paul player. Well, that can't be too bad, right? Well, this guy played freaking weird to me, going for 10-hit combos and constantly pushing me when it wasn't anywhere near his turn confused me.
No way I just got hit with the 10-hit combo.
When he went for 10-hit combos, I honestly had no idea what to do, because the way Paul moved completely broke my brain. Look at this and tell me you know what to do. No, there's just no way this guy's good. But I'm losing. But then he key charged on me, and I took it personally. And would you look at that? Match 100. It'd be so nice to end this challenge on a rank up to the yellow ranks. That would really solidify this whole Tekken noob finally becoming good thing. Unfortunately, my opponent was so unorthodox, I was going to have an extremely hard time.
You won't be showing anything! Sit down, kid.
It was going pretty well until they started doing 10-hit combos again. And yes, even past me knew those are interruptible, but I didn't know when to press a button or how to block that BS.
I missed my electric.
Not to mention the animation looks like something out of the PS1, which only broke my brain more.
No. Okay, of course.
I lost, but hey, the set still isn't over. I started out as aggressive as possible. I didn't want this guy to get anywhere near a 10-hit mix-up.
Oh, you screwed up. Oh, you screwed up. Oh, you're about to get your ass blown.
I started to take a bit of a lead with 2 rounds to his 1, but somehow from just one sidestep, he gained all the momentum he needed to completely steamroll me.
Are you kidding me?
Not only that, but with the 7 golden letters and the key charge as well, I was pissed, but I needed to keep my composure. If he started his 10-hit mix-up BS, I was done for. Before I could even realize, he already started putting me in the blender. Low, mid, low, high, my health drained away. And by the time I could even press anything, I already made a fatal mistake. 1, 1, 2. You see, 1, 1, 2 was good on hit, but on block, it's very punishable. And thanks to this, I reached a state of helplessness. The same helplessness I had when I first did my very first match and lost.
Oh my god. Oof. You suck, you suck. I hate you so much.
Now, it was the end of the challenge. I didn't reach the yellow ranks and felt ashamed of myself. And was gonna leave the room of spirit and soul to play matches with my friends as they were waiting for me. But I'm a salty bitch and decided I would get my rank up even if I had to become sodium itself. I did not sugarcoat anything whatsoever against this gem player. In fact, it was less sugar-coated and more salt-coated. My least favorite super fighting robot crossed my path, and although I put up a good fight, she was able to come out on top for now. I did not like the fact that she topped me, so I did what a good chunk of Reina's fans think she's all about and dominate this robot while taking her win streak. I was literally 1 win away from reaching yellow ranks. It was so close, yet so far. This Kaz messed me up something fierce, but hey, at least each round lasted more than 30 seconds. Like father, like son. Devil Jin did not want me to rank up off him, and it showed because I'm still salty and didn't rank up. This is the first Ryu from Streets. Wait, no. What's this guy's name again? Shaheen! Yeah, the first Shaheen I encountered. And I was still full of salt, so learning the matchup was out of the window. Instead, I would go all out on my game plan until he was down for the count. And after a few rounds of intense Tekken I aggression, I finally reached the yellow ranks, and my salt levels returned to normal. Yay! Well, that was 100 matches plus 7 Soul Feud extras, and I'll say I've made it a long way. From barely being able to move or get in and dropping my combos, to having some understanding of movement and knowing how to finally combo after years of playing Tekken at a casual level. I was also able to do electrics and wave dash against real people. So I'm satisfied. Even though I got salty at times, it wasn't a type of really bad salt. It was more like Dark Souls salt. Like, even though I was losing a lot, I was still having fun and wanted to just get back in and learn more. Reina was a really hard character, having so many tools that really overwhelmed me in the beginning, and there are definitely things I still have yet to discover, even now while recording this, but she's so freaking fun, and she looks so cool. Also, I want her jacket. I just want to get back in and play her more, and also find more routes and ways to punish and extend my combos. As far as my goals from the start of the video, I'd say I smashed through each and every one of them. I definitely have a good understanding of how Reina works at a surface level at least. I figured out some Tekken fundamentals, besides trying to block a mid-crouching. Okay, that's the last time I speak of that. I can do electrics about 15% of the time, and I'm pretty sure if I practice more, I can get that number higher. My movement is also so much better, but it's still hard to wave dash on the left side and also in the heat of battle. As for demolishing my friends, well, right after the last match, I went into a room with a few of them and played. Unfortunately, I forgot to record, but I might have overtrained because I was on a 10+ win streak that night. Oops. Tekken 8 is without a doubt one of the best fighting games I've ever played and will continue to play. So if you made it this far, I won't ask you to like or subscribe. I simply ask you to go out there and play some good ass Tekken. Ciao.